Today I'm going to talk about unreal conditionals. Now, when we talk about unreal conditionals, there are three things we need to look at. We'll be looking at past, present, and future unreal conditionals. First, let's explore the meaning of unreal conditionals. Okay, the thing we must notice about conditionals is that they are if statements that are the if statements. Okay, they are based on a condition. Um, the difference between a real conditional and an unreal conditional is that the if statements are possible. For example, if I see my friend, this is a very real conditional. I have a friend, he's real, and I can see him with my eyes. It's very possible. And this if statement has a result. The result is that I am happy. So if I see my friend, I am happy. On the other hand, unreal conditionals are if statements that are not possible or are very unlikely. For example, if I saw a dragon, I would be happy. The condition here, if I saw a dragon, is very unlikely. Dragons are not real. I cannot see them, I cannot touch them, I cannot even smell them. They don't exist. So it's a very unlikely condition. But this unlikely condition has a result. It's that I would be happy. Okay? So, to summarize, real conditionals are if statements that are possible, such as if I see my friend, the real condition, and they have a result, I am happy. Unreal conditionals are if statements that are not possible or very unlikely. If I saw a dragon, that's an unlikely condition. Dragons are not real, but has a result, I would be happy. Now, let's look at the form of unreal conditionals. Before we start, what is the biggest difference in form, in the grammar, between the real conditional and the unreal conditional? Between if I see my friend, I am happy, and if I saw a dragon, I would be happy. Take about 10 seconds to read these two sentences and think about what the difference might be. Okay, if I see my friend is in the simple present. On the other hand, the unreal conditional uses a backshifted verb. It's always some past tense verb that has been backshifted. Also, the modal is a backshifted modal. So we don't say will, we would say would. Okay? Let's look at how we would backshift verbs. He swam, he had swum. He swims, he swam. He has swum, he had swum. He has been swimming, he had been swimming. He had swum, he had swum. He is swimming, he was swimming. He was swimming, he had been swimming. He is going to swim, he was going to swim. He is going to swim, he was going to swim. More normally, when we backshift the verbs, we either, if it's in the simple past or simple present, we will backshift the verb itself. If it's a different tense, then we're going to backshift the auxiliary. For example, he has swum, he had swum. So we're going to move has to had, is to was. Okay. Moving forward. Backshifting modals, we have to do that as well. So will, would, can, could, may, might, shall, should. Let's look at some examples. Okay. Let's look at how to form present and future unreal conditional. There are two rules. The first rule is that the verb in the if clause must be backshifted and the modal in the main clause must be backshifted. Okay, let's focus on meaning. Gas prices are expensive and you only want to drive a car. Okay, and our conditional. If you take the bus, you will save money. But this sentence here is a real condition. Let's change it. Let's make it unreal. Well, how do we make this unreal? Well, rule 1, the verb in the if clause must be backshifted. Take, therefore, took. And rule 2, the modal in the main clause must be backshifted. Will, therefore, would. Okay, and that is how you write an unreal conditional. If you took the bus, you would save money. Moving forward now. Okay. Oh yes. Remember, backshift for unreal conditionals. Okay. Took, take, took, will, would. Okay. Let's look at past unreal conditionals, the past tense verb in the if clause must be backshifted. Ooh, backshifting further into the past? Let's investigate this. Rule 2, the modal in the main clause must be backshifted, and we have an extra rule for the past tense unreal conditionals is that we have to use a modal plus a present perfect in the main clause. Let's investigate this. Focus on meaning. Last fall, prices were expensive and you only drove. Okay, let's write our real conditional. That's in the past. Okay, so here we go. If you took the bus, you would save money. But this is not an unreal conditional for the past. Let's make it an unreal conditional for the past. First, we need to take this past tense verb in the if clause and we must backshift it even further to the past. So we're going to have to use the past perfect. If you took, if you had taken the bus. Next, we have to backshift the modal, but we also have to use a modal plus a present perfect in the main clause. This is because it's not in the present, it's far in the past. So you would save money, you would have saved money. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to have to use some form of the past perfect verb. And for this modal, we have to use modal plus present perfect. Use a present perfect verb after the modals for past results. Moving forward, let's look a little bit at formality. Still looking at form. Which of these sentences is most formal? Which of these sentences is least formal? If I were taller, I would be a swimmer. If I was taller, I would be a swimmer. Well, the more formal one is if I were taller, and the least formal one is if I was taller. This is because were is the subjunctive mood. In other words, singular be becomes were. This is used in formal writing. It's also a mood that's disappearing in English. On the other hand, was is more informal and it's more common in speech. So singular be was. If I was, if he was, if he were, if I were, if she were, if it were. Okay? Subjunctive mood. Was informal. Okay. Let's look at some of the uses. Modals have different uses and the same modal can be used for different purposes. But when we're talking about conditional sentences, specifically unreal, we're going to be looking at three modals. Modals of ability, could, and modals of possibility, might and could. We're also going to look at would. And these modals have different meanings, okay? So if the degree of possibility is certain or desired or it's a result, then we use would. If I won the lottery, I would buy a house. If it's less certain or doable, we use could. If bosses paid more, people could spend more. And it can also be used for less certain with might. Might means less certain for less certain results. If it were windy tonight, it might rain tomorrow. Well, you might say, well, windy could be very possible. Yes, but it's not windy right now. It's unreal, okay? But if it were windy tonight, it might rain tomorrow, okay? Let's move forward. So looking at present and future, we use would for predictions, could and might for things that are possible and doable. If dragons existed, I would be a dragon rider. I could own a dragon and might fly it to school, okay? Here we use would, it's predicted, could, doable, might, possible. Okay, we use for the present, we can also use could, the past progressive in the if clause to describe an imagined possible result situation in the present. And we can use in the main clause, we use the main clause to describe the imagined result. For example, if I could be anyone, I would be Elon Musk. Okay? Or if I were sitting at the beach, I'm not right now, I'm sitting at a table, at a desk, giving a speech about the unreal present conditionals. But if I were sitting at the beach, I would be happy. Looking at the past, the if clause. The if clause describes something that is unreal in the past. In the main clause, the imagined result of that imagined unreal condition in the past. For example, if I had been born in the 1910s, I would have traveled to Paris in the 1920s. I could have listened to jazz and drank absinthe, and I might have met Hemingway and Fitzgerald in France. Okay, again, we use would for possible, could for doable, and might for less certain. Okay. Moving forward, quick review. Remember to backshift the verb tense in the if clause. Remember to backshift the modal in the main clause. Remember that we use would for predictions, certain or desired results. We use could and might for things that are less possible or doable. For example, if a dragon were alive, I would be a wizard. I could own the dragon. I might fly it to school. All right, this concludes my somewhat long presentation. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you have any thoughts, concerns, or questions, please email me, and I look forward to seeing you in class.